Hi guys, I'm Prateek Kumar and I'm the host of the FitCru Show. I'm also the founder of FitCru. And before I start introducing the next guest, I would like to request you all to do one thing. Please subscribe to our channel on whatever platform you're going to hear this, or whether it's Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, wherever we're present. Please do hit the follow, subscribe button, because you guys subscribing to our channel helps us grow our show, grow our community better, and we are able to get better personalities, better people, and have more engaging conversations with them. This would help our listeners understand their struggles, their journeys, and get a clear insight in their lives too. So if you guys were to join us, there's literally nothing else that I could ask you all to do, because when we come together, we'll be able to get better people into our community. So please hit the bell icon or the subscribe button or the follow button, whatever platform you all are consuming this piece of content on. Please do join our community. I would like to welcome you all, and I would like to move on to our guest now.
Your job as a coach, your job as a trainer is more responsible than a doctor. I always say that, because you go to an orthopedician or a physiotherapist when you are injured or when something has happened to you. But when you go to a coach when you are at your best, right? You want to do good for yourself. Yeah. Nothing has happened to you. So imagine the kind of responsibility that you have it in your shoulders. You always need to be cognizant of the fact. Yeah. And that's where education comes into picture. Yep. Education. It's not that I have done 12, 10 and 8 rep exercise it and it will work for all. Education is unparalleled to any understanding of any institution, and especially in a country which has a population of 1.4 billion. People can easily trust you. You need to be really cognizant of the fact that I will need to educate myself if and when I start coaching anybody, if I start consulting anybody. Imagine if I want to bring the best out from you, and if your mind is not at peace, how will I do it? Yeah. That's where program design starts. अगर मेरा दिमाग शांत है तो मैं शायद 4 और पुलअप कर भी सकता हूँ, करवा भी सकता हूँ. Correct. अगर मेरा दिमाग शांत है तो I would not feel sad about the rejection that I've had, because ठीक है, this is a part, and I always say try until you fail, because once you understand the depth of failure, it's only upwards.
What's up? Welcome to the FitCru Show, India's favorite wellness podcast. So I'm your host Prateek Kumar, like you know, and let's dive deep into another conversation with our guest Ritesh Sahiwal. Okay, so he's an ASCM certified personal trainer. He's also been in the fitness industry since decades. He's performed in the Ironman. He's completed it. He's also been on the Netflix India Beastmaster show. He's the brand ambassador of Under Armour, Tata Steel. He's worked with the Indian Army in getting their fitness levels higher. So he's one of those few people in fitness that I actually look up to, and I'm really excited in having him on this show today. So let's dive deeper and let's understand more about Ritesh, his journeys, the struggles that he's faced, how he's overcome them, and how is he able to live such a fit life. Last 1.5 2 years of your life, I don't want to use this small term as self-discovery, because that's a very small term, and you have lost yourself at multiple places. Let's say you invested the last 36 years out of the 38 years in creating a certain version of Ritesh. For the last 2 years, you have lost a lot of components of yourself. Mar gaye hain. You've gone for the summit. A part of you is left behind over there. You were training for Ironman. A part of you is left behind over there. Your Auroville experience left behind over there.
So just adding on, to sum up what you were trying to say is, and I've been lucky enough to now spend time with my family, especially my mother and my father. Mm-hmm. And my father is an avid, supremely genius guy when it comes to literature.
What is that one thing that he said?
So that's
bache something.
So I said, Papa, मैंने कुछ लिखा है, आपको सुनाना चाहता हूँ. तो बेटा सुनाओ. And generally he just say very good you. So what you said मर गया है ना. So उसी पे मैंने लिखा था कि मैं अभी खुद को छोड़ आया हूँ. मैं अभी खुद को छोड़ आया हूँ. इस मोड़ पे मैं कल शाम आया हूँ. मैं अभी खुद को छोड़ आया हूँ. इस मोड़ पे मैं कल शाम आया हूँ. नादानी से रिश्ता एक बार फिर से जोड़ लाया हूँ. मैं अभी खुद को छोड़ आया हूँ. I'll repeat it again. It's no. It goes, मैं अभी खुद को छोड़ आया हूँ, ये इस मोड़ पे मैं कल शाम आया हूँ, ये खेल में फिर से खेल आया हूँ, नादानी से रिश्ता एक बार फिर से जोड़ लाया हूँ, मैं अभी खुद को छोड़ आया हूँ। तलाश चल रही है जिसकी, जो आपने कहा ना कि you lost yourself, lot of thing died, तलाश चल रही है जिसकी वो कल शाम मर गया, तलाश चल रही है जिसकी वो कल शाम मर गया, आज सुबह की आजान के साथ उसे मैं फिर से घर लाया हूं, अभी मैं खुद को छोड़ आया हूं. So that journey, when you say self-discovery and exploration is, I think I've come to a conclusion that that journey is one where what we're talking is that वो जो बच्चा था ना, जो मर गया था ना, उसके कहीं ना कहीं आप भी सोचते हो यार, आई नीड टू जस्ट वंस, यार वो जो खेलता था मैं, वो जो मैं खेलता था बेबाक उस मैदान में, वो प्रतीक कहाँ गया? That's the whole pursuit. We have made everything such a rocket science. It's that pursuit. What you are seeking is actually that.
Yeah.
Conditioning. And what has happened is, we have actually never evolved. Now what we are talking, I wrote it today, this morning. We were just working on the simplest aspect of reconditioning. Yeah. We want to reconditioning everything behind. Like, okay, I want that child to play what he used to play when he was a kid. I want to go absolutely on Kichad and Matti when I go back home. That's where the whole thing of grounding comes in.
So do you feel that when you were a child, like when not this child,
yeah,
physically that child, do you feel that there was a moment, like there was any like pivotal moment where you decided, okay, health?
Oh yeah, hell yes.
Health is what I want to dedicate my life towards. Like there are people who are dedicating their life towards certain different aspects of life. Some are wealth, some are family, some are health, some might be, I don't know what, like kuch bhi, towards society, contributing to society. But I think now, like your career was built around health. So when you were a child and when you were in that Maidan and playing, tell us about that. Like how did you decide, or what made you think that, okay, maybe health is something that I should give it a shot?
Yeah, when what our society, with due respect, is very good at it silently kills you. And I'll tell you how. It silently makes you ashamed of the fact of how you look. And I was so lucky enough to be a victim of that.
Okay.
I was so now I realize, oh wow, this was the best thing that happened to me, because as you know, as a very close friend, and in most of my interviews that I said that I used to have double face, forget double chin. I used to have boobs, literally, and how I used to be tortured and treated in my school and in my family, my closed ones, not the first family. It gave me strength, man. And when you talk about health, it was beyond health for me. It was not health. Health is again is a term which won't justify what I felt at that point. And it pushed me to be introvert at that point of time, and it made me to be whatever I am today. So when I was in Maidan, the whole idea was not to just play. It was just to be the strongest person, just to be the most motivating guy, regardless of how I looked. So if I can answer that in a way wherein I was bullied in such a nice way that I'm so thankful to each and every people who did that to me, and with no sympathy because I mean what I'm saying. Everything was so well planned by the divine power that I had to be this person today.
Yeah.
So whether it's in the school, whether it's in the family, I was to be 2 hands distance away from people. If you want to touch me, didn't want you to touch me, because I used to get those bruises, and and that made me a very different person. Again, as we are talking about conditioning, that was the deepest level of conditioning that I got through, and which I have no regret about, because if you talk about anything that I wanted to do in my life, that inspiration is there, and how can I be the victim of the fact of the source that gave me those inspiration, so that is the importance of health in my life.
But yeah, whenever you decided, like at that time, how many years did you actually spend in terms of educating yourself about nutrition, about fitness, about the styles of exercise that you learned? How long has that journey been for you? When did you start?
I'll tell you how I started. So again, being an oversized kid, and especially coming from Bihar, you have an ultimate package.
Yeah.
You know, so and at that time I used to see my brother, and my brother was into fitness, and I saw that guy, brilliantly dedicated guy, morning, evening, he used to work out, and you have a brother who is so fit, and you have another,
But he's younger to you.
he's elder to me.
He's elder to you.
Yeah, and you have somebody who is so fat, literally fat, and you feel that because again, because with the construct, with the kind of psychology as you have as an individual, but he always motivated me, and I was getting silently motivated by him. So I started my journey.
But there was no like sibling competition, some jealousy that, oh my god, like I'm overweight, you so fit.
या कुछ भी कह लो, वो तो था नहीं,
हाँ.
बट कहीं ना कहीं वो आपके अंदर तो वो बात होती
The
रहती है,
insecurity and
हाँ,
all
वो
that,
होती
that's
रहती
it.
है,
Yeah.
वो होती ही रहती
Like
है,
why am I not looking like that?
हाँ, होती है, वो यथार्थ है. That's the ultimate truth. Then we should not deny that.
Yeah.
Why would we deny that? It happens, and we don't know ऐसा कुछ नहीं था, everything was ideal, and absolutely doesn't work like that. So yeah, I started like that, and then I started going to the gym, as we all do. Then
Spending 3 hours in the gym.
3 hours, उसके बाद पैसे भी बचाने लगे हम, क्योंकि हमने बोला कि हम ही आपका जिम खोलेंगे भैया, तो फिर आप जो हमसे 50 रुपए लेते हैं वो माफ कर दो. तो we started with that, and my understanding initially was कि अगर मुझे छोले समोसे मिल जाएंगे तो छोले is protein and समोसा is carbohydrates. तो क्या उसके बाद अगर हम बादाम शेक पी लेते तो दूध है, वहाँ पे भी मिल गया आपको. Yeah, so we had that understanding. So when we say nutrition, so I come from that understanding, wherein that is the best way to learn, I guess. And again, the understanding of fitness was, कौन कितना weight उठा सकता है,
Yeah.
ठीक है. So we started with that. We all start like that. Then
Broken stuff along the way?
Huh?
Have you broken stuff along the way with that approach?
Oh,
Lots of-
obviously, broken stuff as in broken the machines, not
Yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
bones.
Okay, I was talking about your bones.
No,
like,
no,
injuries.
lucky enough. No,
Yeah.
never. No, not till date. So God's grace. So उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि I was in Patna, then I moved to Delhi. Delhi again, if you are in Bihar, as I always say, you do precisely these things. You become a doctor, you become an engineer, you become an IAS officer, or you become a gunda, wherein you are on the verge of making kattas and all that. And being very honest, I from pursuing MBBS, giving competitive exam, to absolutely on the verge of making those guns. I was that close to it, and then I realized it's high time that I should leave this place.
Yeah.
So I left, and then I came to Delhi. And when I came to Delhi, I started pursuing journalism. And that was my first, again, I wanted to do my graduation in journalism and mass media, which I pursued. But 24 hours around the clock, the only thing that ran in my mind is that I don't have enough money to exercise. I need to find money to exercise. So in the meantime, I didn't have that understanding to do outdoors. Bhi hota hai, kuch jo bhi lagta hai ki outdoor. You know what I mean? Then I started working in the call center, and there's not a single time frame in 24 hours that I haven't worked out. Whether it's 1 a.m. in the morning, whether it's 2 a.m. in the morning, because jab time milta tha, it's like, this is the thing that gives me peace. And okay, a call center has very good gyms as well, so I should train, and then I'll have my meal at 3 a.m. in the morning. So that was the evolution, and then Fitness First happened, and I started working with Fitness First. Over a decade I worked. I started as a flow trainer.
Yeah, and how much have you contributed in Fitness First?
Yeah, I started as a flow trainer, and then I became that they have their categories, the top level trainer. Then they made me manager. Then I was handling one club. Then I started handling 2 clubs as a fitness manager. Then I started handling a little bit of operations. Then I started doing human resources, hiring people. Then I started coaching trainers. Then I started training trainers and sending them across to train people. So then we ended up opening, with my other team members, we ended up opening approximately 6 to 8 health clubs of Fitness First. And then I realized in 2017 that it's high time that I should start something of my own, wherein Easy Human came into picture. But one thing I realized in the journey, which is till today, it goes for every single soul who is learning, is that your job as a coach, your job as a trainer is more responsible than a doctor. I always say that because you go to an orthopedician or a physiotherapist when you are injured or when something has happened to you. But when you go to a coach, when you are at your best, right? You want to do good for yourself. Yeah. Nothing has happened to you. So imagine the kind of responsibility that you have it in your shoulders. You always need to be cognizant of the fact. Yeah. And that's where education comes into picture. Yep. Education, education, education. It's not that I have done 12, 10 and 8 rep exercise it and it will work for all. You know, I have done it this way, I have experienced it, and I have also made 10 people experience it. Yeah. It will work like that. Great, it might work, theory of masses. But education is unparalleled to any understanding of any institution, and especially in a country which has a population of 1.4 billion. You know, people can easily trust you and mistrust you at the same within a blink of your eyes. You need to be really cognizant of the fact that I will need to educate myself if and when I start coaching anybody, if I start consulting anybody, because it's very easy to make money, but it's very, very difficult to make money with the purest intention, with better process, and especially country like ours. हम trainers hire कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद the whole responsibility that I took on my shoulders, that how much my trainer is qualified to take a member, to coach it, to design a program, to design a nutrition, and the most important aspect is to understand the psychology. That's what we miss all the time. Great nutrition, amazing programming, but do you really understand the psychology of an individual? You know what I mean? Yeah. How do I kickstart my fitness? That's the question that I've been asked. I said psychology first. Mindset, your psychology. Is Pratik even listening to me? Mm-hmm. Will Pratik ever listen to me?
Yeah, the first question that we ask is, are you, like I told you, are you willing to do these things, make these trade-offs, and are you able to make these trade-offs? Being willing is one thing. Like, I'm willing to do it. I want to lose weight, I want to get fit, I want to build muscle. I'm willing to do it. Are you able to do it?
Correct.
Do you have the resources? Do you have the time, the bandwidth? Like, it's a lot of questions that you need to ask yourself.
Correct.
We might want the best for us, but are we willing and able?
Are you empathetic enough as a human soul to understand what would have gone yesterday in his or her family in order to make somebody do a CrossFit exercise? Understand where I'm coming from. Yeah. You really. So I have been working with top level athletes now. I met one of my very closest friends yesterday, and when she listens to it, she knows what I'm talking about. I said, you really need to fix it. You know more than me as far as running is concerned, but meditation first. I said meditation first. I see you and I say you don't need anything much more than meditation first. You run workshops, you run so many programs. Do you ensure that your student meditate before?
FitCru.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? I told her and she was like, what the hell? Like, what did you just say? Man, you have such an amazing audience to pass this on to. Please do that. Because if you start doing it, then you will pass on to your community that you have so nicely built over the years. You know, that's it. One thing that we as a team we should do is that any program should start with meditation. And we're on the same page. Imagine you say, okay, mobilizer first, and then we do a cardio, and then great, it's amazing. But imagine what you can do as far as contributing to your society in a very real sense is concerned. That they would be your audience, they would be your people. Imagine if I want to bring the best out from you, and if your mind is not at peace, how will I do it?
Yeah,
that's where program design starts. You know, so that has been my journey. That has been my downs to understand. Okay, no, अगर मेरा दिमाग शांत है तो मैं शायद 4 और पुल-अप कर भी सकता हूँ, करवा भी सकता हूँ.
Correct.
You know, मेरा अगर दिमाग शांत है तो शायद I can fight that altitude where I succumbed. अगर मेरा दिमाग शांत है तो I would not feel sad about the rejection that I've had, because ठीक है, this is a part, and I always say, without a crest there is no trough. We want to reach the crescendo, but you don't absorb and accept the trough that a wave has. The beauty of wave lies in understanding the beauty of trough, the science of a wave. And we all want to reach a crescendo, but we don't want to address the trough of it. How foolish is that?
Yeah.
You know? So, man.
So, while like when you're done with fitness first and you decided to, well, obviously that you are part of the successful startup of Easy Human and you're providing meals to people, providing food to people so that they can make healthier choices on autopilot rather than figuring out what should they eat, when, and stuff like that. And you also have what, 2 studios now?
Yeah, we had a shut one during the lockdown though.
Okay.
We have one studio in Colaba. Yeah.
So while you're managing all of this, how did you take time out for Ironman? How did you take time out for Beastmaster? Like, can
यार भाई मेरे पता है क्या? Again, if you start thinking life as a play, and if you make peace with the fact that my life would be a simulation of my experiences, then you won't think how do you get the time. Because I am like, I want to tap into a highest human potential. What do I need to do that? What all I have to do for that? Physical aspect, mental aspect, emotional aspect. You have so many events that you can test yourself for. As I always say, the whole idea about Ironman doing was to learn swimming. हाँ, so मतलब मैं Ironman इसीलिए गया था क्योंकि मुझे swimming आती नहीं थी.
No, but first that's what I wanted to know. Like, how long did you train for Ironman?
I'll be very honest to you.
Like, of actually training, not like because you've accumulated so much wealth in muscle and knowledge.
2019 was my first time that I was doing half Ironman 70.3. It's called 70.3 miles, which becomes 114 kilometers of the total race. So I signed up 4 months prior. Okay, and I didn't know how to swim then. 250 meter भी नहीं करता था. In Ironman 70.3 you have to swim approximately 2 kilometers. So मैंने swimming चालू की pool में, and 2 months before the race, my mom was with me, and she was seriously ill, and I was emotionally drained. Because again, that's the point when I accept that I can be emotionally drained is my umbilical cord relationship. That's my mom. So, and I was like, now I don't want to do it. Now there were 2 things. Yes, my mom was unwell, but also there was silently one thing playing in my mind. Am I completely ready? Am I ready? And because I'm not ready, I'm telling this to myself that no, my mom is unwell.
Yeah.
Again, as I always say, logic and mind is very manipulative. It takes away the bigger element from you. So I'm saying, my mother is unwell and that's why I don't want to do the rest. But when I introspect deeply inside me, it's like, okay, Ritesh, don't act smart. Because you are underprepared.
You speak to yourself.
You speak to yourself and you realize that logical mind is brilliantly manipulative. So have peace with that. So I said, अच्छा, actually बात ये है, हाँ, ये बात ये है. Then my friends, the closest friends, helped me and made me realize, no, you have to do it. Again, Shivali ma'am was like my mother. She enforced the thing that no, you have signed up. You really need to do it. So I was like, my friend, another friend, Pankaj, is one of the avid Ironman of our country, Dhiman. He told me, bro, तो चुतियापा बंद कर, रेस में मिलते हैं. ठीक है, that was the thing. And that was 2 months, right? 2 months are left, and I have swam around, say, 750 meters in the pool. No introduction to the sea yet.
No currents, no waves,
nothing. And being very honest, as my friend says, swimming in the ocean, swimming in the sea is like swimming inside a washing machine.
Yeah.
It's like that if you go really deep into that, right? So 2 months. I was like, okay. I was still doing my work, and as you all know, whosoever does Ironman, it's very time consuming. So I had to handle Easy Human, and we were all coming off pandemic. That psychology still sets inside your brain. You have to earn your bread and butter because money was very important at that time. Where would we get? And I call ourselves daily wages worker.
Yeah.
Your money is dependent on that, because I don't have that. Luckily, I don't have that privilege that I would get money in the bank by my father. So I'm very, very thankful to them at that front as well. So I realized that, and then I started preparing it. Basically, 2 months I gave it to myself, and being very honest and being very foolish to you, I actually bought a life jacket also, and I went to Goa. And I was like in the sea.
The Ironman competition.
I went 5 days before, so that feel to ले लूँ यार एक बारी. मैं life jacket में actually सुनना, how foolish is that, Ritesh? But I had to get rid of my fear.
Yeah.
Never ever I have been in the sea. And the practice is, my friend Pankaj told me that you are not going deep. You're just working on the sighting. So you don't go vertical. You go horizontal. Just work on the sighting. And that was the one day that I did enter, and it was like 30 minutes inside, and first time ever in my life I was in the sea during the race.
Oh.
Yeah. And that was like amazing. Why? I think I shared it with you. In the first 7th minute, I was bitten by the biggest jellyfish in the race. And that was icing on the cake. I like, oh shit, okay, now I have been embraced by the sea. It was the first time, and I saw the whole hand turning red. No kidding. No kidding. Still, I'm having goosebumps. And what I felt for the fraction of second, it was just that fraction of second what I felt. अच्छा ठीक है चलो हो गया ना अब चल ठीक है अब बट था कि दोबारा काटेगा तब तो I know the feeling. हाँ, being very honest.
Yeah.
Then 7th minute, and then I finished the whole race with that thing, and because it kills you, the pain kills you. And I, being very honest, I didn't realize that pain till the time I finished the race.
Adrenaline.
I don't know, yeah. I was not even prepared. I've been very honest. I was 60% prepared. And then on top of that, this. And being very honest, I'm not making it dramatic. I didn't even feel it. But as soon as I finished the race, I showed it to the doctor. And doctor ne kaha ki, you will be under observation for 24 hours. It doesn't mean that you have to be with us. As soon as the color starts changing to purple or blue, you just call us because it becomes fatal. And I just observed the whole night. I passed on the night, and luckily the color didn't change, but I had crazy pain, and nothing happened after that. And I happily finished the race, and that was the journey. And being very honest, I did. So my whole idea is to do 570.3 before I plunge into doing the full Ironman. The second Ironman I did, and I told this to my mother. I was like, shit. I was so close to sinking. Now, Prateek told me before we started this conversation that this conversation is about failure. And Kapil Dev, I think before and after the World Cup, he says that try until you fail, because once you understand the depth of failure, it's only upwards. Something around that, right? And you know what? The next Ironman, which I did it in 2021, 13th October. I had this, I changed my goggles a week prior, and I was not aware that, I was thinking, okay, I will get a better horizon because the goggles, the shape, wo wali tha, but I was fooled because I didn't realize that is used for divers or whatever. Even if it is used for divers, that goggle that I was using was shit. And what happened within first 250 meters, I was in 250 meters, and as you guys know, that was my first time in the sea, in my first Ironman, and I'm so wise as a human being that this was my second time in the sea. उससे पहले समंदर में गया ही नहीं. So 2 times I went inside the sea doing 2 kilometers, and both times was Ironman.
Okay.
Right? So why I'm saying that, I'll come back to that. So within 250 meters, I was blind because the whole water, I felt that washing machine, the whole water was inside my goggles, and I was blind. And being very honest,
See, that's the importance of having a good coach. You need to get a good coach.
That's what I realized. That's what I realized. And being very honest, I didn't have the coach. I didn't take any coach who taught me this, and I was coming to that. And the only kind of swimming that I know is freestyle, I don't even know how to float. Now, my mother was teaching me, and she's an amazing swimmer. My mother was teaching me how to float. I didn't know how to float, and the whole water gushed in.
Yeah.
Okay, if I knew how to float, I would have gone back on my back and fixed it.
Yeah.
And I started sinking, Pratik. Never had that moment ever in my life. And I that's what I say. And as Sadhguru says one thing very, very well is that do one element in everyday life that challenges your survival element, that puts your life into question. Anything it can be. It can be walking on a railing where you say, okay, if I fall, I break my bone. It can be as simple as it is. It might be complex for you. So I was like sinking, man. And again, we'll come back to that feeling of Everest Base Camp that we were talking about. To understand or to feel that so closely, or to feel that vulnerable aspect of life so quickly in that blink of moment. And I was actually thinking two questions, two thought came into my mind. First was, I'm going back because my life is first.
Yeah.
Right. And second thought, being very honest, because I'm very close to my mom, is like, Ma bacha le. Sachi bata raha hu. Because the buoys were very far away. I can't hold it.
Yeah.
You know, and I was blind in, and I have never.
Were you able to see which way is up, which way is down, right, left?
The buoys, you can hold on to them I was far away from them because again, it's a race of so many people.
Yeah.
I was like slightly away so that it doesn't get congested, because anything can happen.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you can get panicky with the fact that okay, there are so many people.
Someone's gonna come into you.
That's a part of it, right? Two things. And being very honest, again, I'm coming back to what he's talking about, the failure. I succumbed. I said no. Life first. And when I was going back, I was swimming back to the shore where I started. When I was going back, I like, this race is done for me. You know. And I don't know what happened. I went back again, 250 meters. And suddenly I found my feet touching the ground. It gave me something else. It gave me a sense of restart.
It's just like 500 meters.
I don't know where it came from, brother. I don't know. Like, I'm speaking my heart out right now. What happened, where that strength came from, where that energy came from, where that conviction came from, I have no idea. I cannot explain. I set my goggles and I started the whole race again. And I was blind, literally, because I don't know how to float. The wise Ritesh, you know. I was blind. I was just doing this. Completed that whole 2 kilometers of the race.
Yeah.
With being 40% one side.
Yeah.
I could only see 60%. I said, imagine 60% in the sea second time in your life. It made me a different person. So we were talking about, right? So aura will change you. No, it's a construct of different situation that I happen to be in. It made me whatever it is, you know. So वापस जब आया, race खत्म किया, and then I was like timing है. And last time I did, my timing was around 53 minutes. This time, when I finished, I did around
with an extra
500 meters more.
Extra 500 meters.
I finished it in 47 minutes.
Lovely.
Which was lesser than the last time.
Yeah.
I like, because I was
6 minutes.
Would
have probably been 8 minutes.
Yeah. So again, when you talk about failure, it's how you define it, it's how you accept it. It was something which was life changing.
Yeah, I think it's more about the mindset and how you talk to yourself at that point of time in failure. Like how you said that, okay, your feet hit the ground and you experienced some form of energy which just decided, okay, you need to turn back, Ritesh, and do it.
Also, just to add on, you know, you feel selfless about life also. And that's how you conquer big things, I guess. You know, if I would have been so selfish about, मैं मर जाऊंगा, कुछ हो जाएगा मुझे, चलो मर भी लिया, कुछ हो जाएगा, कोई बचा भी लेगा. Let's not dramatize. कोई बचा भी लिया, कुछ हो भी जाएगा. वो एलिमेंट कहीं ना कहीं छोड़नी बहुत जरूरी है ना. चलो हो जाएगा तो हो जाएगा.
You have to be willing to be like
throw yourself.
Yeah, surrender yourself.
What is it? Surrender. What you said? बहुत चीज मर गई, बहुत चीज you lost it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I lost that. Oh yeah, it's so.
You lost the fear.
हाँ, you lost the fear or you lost that. Oh, मतलब कुछ हो जाएगा ये जरूरी थोड़ी है, कुछ भी नहीं होगा यार. वो भी एक element है जो in a day-to-day life you need to accept. Whether it is a businessman, whether you're a coach, whether you're a trainee, whether you're a top-level athlete, whatever you do. You know, when we climb mountains, when you get stuck with altitude sickness, what goes inside your head, man? Come on. It's beyond explanation.
But coming to that, like you've done 2 Ironmans. And
Yeah.
between this, you managed to scale Mount Everest.
Yeah.
You did base camp.
Base camp and then
did
I did
Kalapathar.
Kalapathar twice. Again, this is my funda. If you would be noticing that it's a pattern. I try to do everything twice.
Yeah.
It's like कुछ छूट गया ना तो उसको मैं देख के आता हूँ. क्या छूट गया था? So Ironman twice, Everest twice. So yeah.
So how was training for Everest? Like was the training, the mindset training? First of all, tell me how important is mindset training? Like how much importance would you give to mindset versus physical training? Whether it's an Ironman, whether it's Everest, whether it's Beastmaster.
Yeah.
How important is one from, like, what is more important?
यार वही है ना कि अब आप देखते होगे कि there are people who have summited Everest or who does base camp who are physically or aesthetic wise they're okay. They have pounds, they are not that fit, but you know what I mean?
Not in physical
aspect.
best condition.
So if it is a big race, if it is a big event, yes, obviously nobody is fooled not to say that physical aspect is not important, but again, it's mental game.
Yeah, but how much of it? Like, what would you say? 50-50, 70-30? What?
I would say 65% of mind and 35% of willingness to throw yourself.
That's also mine.
Yeah, that's also body. ठीक है यार कुछ हो जाएगा इंजरी हो जाएगी तो ठीक है यार उसमें it's part of you. It's a part of the process. Like a lot of people say, oh मैं training कर रहा हूँ मुझे यार ये दर्द हो रहा है यार. If you are putting yourself to a situation which you have not put yourself,
It's going to be uncomfortable.
there has to be uncomfortable parts in your journey.
Yeah.
Again, physically you accept it, mentally you accept it. You say mental strength, that's similarly, it's physical strength also.
Yeah.
Physical strength is not a bench press that you do always or a pull up that you do. Is that okay? मुझे मोच आ गई है लेकिन the whole system is still working यार. So I have seen people, oh मुझे मोच आ गई, I'm now in a bed rest. I'm saying ये काम कर रहा है, 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 ये काम कर रहा है यार.
Yeah.
Now think from there. You know, it's high time that we start as a therapist also, as doctors also, we start not asking people to be on a bed rest. Give them something यार, because एक तो उनका पैर टूट गया है, उसके बाद आप उनको बोलोगे बेड रेस्ट पे आ जाओ. Mentally you are just killing them.
Yeah.
You know, just give them something to be just जहाँ पे आपकी chemical responses stimulate हो रही हैं and you are feeling happy about it. So still 65-35 if we can have that number. Because why I'm saying that is that I was first time when I was doing it back in 2016. Physically I was okay, I was fit, but if anybody would have done Namche takes a very good toll on the third day, wherein आपको आपकी औकात बताती है कि भैया तुम fit with some एक जगह है, but ये जो nature का खेल है ना, ये जो altitude का खेल है, different ball game altogether. The reason being is that we stay at sea level.
Yeah.
Right, we are used to at sea level kind.
A certain amount of oxygen
आप
coming
सीधा
in.
ऊपर जा रहे हो यार, और उसके बाद एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो कि आप नॉर्मल रहोगे, नहीं हो सकता है.
Yeah.
अब फिर उसके लिए ऑल्टीट्यूड ट्रेनिंग करते हो आप कंडीशनड एनवायरनमेंट में जहाँ पे ऑल्टीट्यूड ट्रेनिंग होती है. Yeah, that all will help. That becomes a part of a physical aspect. But most of us are not lucky enough to go through that training. I didn't go through that altitude training. It's good that you do it. It's great. But there is a part where my mental strength took over my physical strength.
Yeah.
Because I was panting. It was all okay. But again, वो realization होती है जब आप वहाँ होते हैं.
Yeah.
इतनी cold. Now cold is something.
The cold wind, how will you still with that?
मतलब कोल्ड और विंड को आप क्या बोलोगे, फिजिकल एस्पेक्ट या मेंटल? वो तो होगा ही ना, वो तो मेंटल एस्पेक्ट ही हो गया.
Yeah.
कि your nose is just perpetually running and what you will say, oh my physical aspect is very strong. It doesn't work like that. You need to first accept it. Your nose will run. You will have some aches and pains. You will have some traumas. Some traumas will surface out in the process. You accept it mentally.
I remember you called me from there and you were like, I was like done. I was completely.
Yeah, that was for second time.
Yeah.
that was second time when I was doing. I was sleeping. I called. Yes, he remembers, and I called a few of my close people. I was hit. And honestly, being very honest, it's not about Ritesh being so fit. Usko bhi ho gaya. नहीं. किसी को भी हो सकता. Altitude sickness can happen to anyone. It happened to me in first time also.
Yeah.
It happened to me second time also. But it's about that thing, कि this shall also pass.
Yeah.
वही journey शुरू होती है. And
did you at that point of time, in second time, did you at any time think that, okay, my time has come?
मैं बताता हूँ उसका क्या ना कि I'll tell you what is the thing. So we were at base camp. We went to base camp, and this was my second time. And I'll tell you a small story. When I went to the first time, my 90% of the group climbed till Kala Patthar, and I was like, ठीक है यार, मेरा तो base camp हो गया. Again, logical mind is very manipulated. मैंने अपने आप को समझा लिया. लेकिन वो जो बच्चा था, वो बोलता था, रितेश तूने तेरा छूट गया ना Kala Patthar. You really wanted to do that, and why are you lying to yourself that you are saying this to you? हो गया ना, मैं तो खुश हूँ. हाँ ठीक है वो you know when to stop, but you also address the fact that what you really wanted to achieve. And that's why I think कुछ छूट गया था जो मैंने बोला ना 2016 में किया, फिर 2019 में शायद मैं इसीलिए गया था, शायद नहीं इसीलिए गया था कि मुझे फिर से काला पत्थर था. ठीक है. So when I again you go to base camp and you come back to Gorakshep because you are not allowed to stay in base camp unless you are summiting all the way up later, because that goes up towards camp 1, camp 2, camp 3. So I went back, and Gorakshep, I realized that I'm hit with altitude sickness again. And कुछ नहीं मन करता आपको ना पानी पीने का, ना कुछ भी नहीं मन करता. And you just like silently, I had my picture also, I showed it to you also. And I started to just call people, like हाँ देख रहे हैं ऐसा ठीक है. Then gradually what started happening is that my left side started becoming a bit numb. And I told one of my friends that I would go and go into the sleeping bag. And my sleeping bag में जाकर सो गया था. And what I was realizing is that it was around -10, and I was drenched in sweat from my left side. मेरे left side पूरा भीगा हुआ था, and right side was absolutely normal. And I was like, now that is a transitional journey that makes you evolve as a human being, which I can say out of my experience. And I didn't panic. Ironman also, which we spoke about, I didn't panic.
Yeah.
I didn't. I accepted that, okay, I have to go back and not do the race. But again, some divine energy came in. I didn't panic. I said, they take out. Again, that element wherein the selflessness comes in. We also are very, 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 very captivating about life. Life is to live. जिस क्षण मर गए यार. Is to live. उसको पकड़ के रखो तो मरोगे. किसी भी क्षण मर जाओगे. तो वो चीज कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ी सी कम है लेकिन नहीं यार जान चली जाएगी क्या ज़्यादा से क्या होगा, ऑक्सीजन आएगा, हो जाएगा. That thing is chilling. Just take a plunge, throw yourself, get lost. Let that man also die. It actually helps you to survive. So
no, but, like while you're doing all of that, like while you're talking and while you are in this place where you're sweating, it's minus probably 10 degrees, 5 degrees, I don't know. And you're sweating, half of you is sweating, half of you is like this. Like again, I'm coming back to this point. Did you ever like kind of throw in the towel and be like, hey, यार नहीं हो रहा है मुझसे?
हाँ हुआ, वही आ रहे थे उस पे. तो उसके बाद ना काला पत्थर से तो काला पत्थर करना था मुझे, which I didn't do it in 2016. And my guide was knocked at my door at 3:30 am. बोला सर चले? मैंने यार आधे घंटे और दे दे. And that was the whole conversation. मैं नहीं करूँगा. मेरे अंदर वही कॉन्वर्सेशन कि कैसे करूँगा यार, कि ये कैसे कर सकता हूँ. मेरी स्थिति मुझे पता है. I can't do it. It came at 4 o'clock. आधे घंटे और. उसको मैंने बोला भी नहीं कि मुझे कैसा फील हो रहा है. बोला आधे घंटे और दे दे. And after half an hour when he came, I was not in the best of my shape internally. But I committed कि चलता हूँ यार, देखता हूँ क्या होगा. ठीक है. Yes, I lost it. For those पूरी again I come back to the logical mind is manipulated. तो अपने आप को समझा सकते हो यार, या तो समझा लो या तो कर लो. समझा तो बोले हाँ ठीक है यार कुछ नहीं होता यार, कोई बात नहीं, मैं चॉपर से भी चला जाऊंगा ना यार, एवरेस्ट तो हो गया. ऐसे होता है ना, तो ठीक है उनके लिए वो दायरा है तो बहुत बढ़िया, उनकी वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है. तो मैं समझा रहा था लेकिन मैं नहीं समझा पाया अपने आप. अपने सच्चे इंसान को नहीं समझा
couldn't lie to yourself.
I couldn't lie to myself. मैं फिर वही करेगा तू हाँ और शायद आप लोग भी करते हो कभी ना कभी होती होगी
Yeah, every day. I think it's a daily thing that we
it's a
keep,
daily thing
we
and
keep negotiating with ourselves.
वही क्या है ना सबसे बड़ी लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग है किताबों से बहुत बड़ी है एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग क्योंकि वो आपने महसूस किया I took that plunge and I had to say मुझे वहां जाके देखना है बिकॉज वहां जाना है ठीक है very tough I always say what I did for the whole base camp and that 250-500 meters of Kala Pathar was summed. You sum up those whole that 3.5 hours and you sum up the whole base camp thing.
Yeah.
This would be way tougher than that.
Okay.
Because never felt that element of human being in me is that I walk 5 step, literally 5 step. I take 10 minutes break. Because you pan, that's solitude for you. That seriousness of dehydration. Because हम कुछ खाए नहीं थे आप ठूस नहीं सकते हो vomit कर रहे हो and I vomited whole night.
Okay.
And there was one point when like I think I'm done. I called my mother wherein she didn't even realize why I'm calling. My mom हाँ सब ठीक है wherein I like चल if this is the last call कुछ भी हो सकता है you know also you might not die but you become so vulnerable about it.
Yeah.
At that point कि चल
There are endless possibilities to this outcome. Like you don't know who's going to make out how you're going to return if you return.
Correct. And you know, first time when I was doing it, I saw so many dead bodies stacked and getting into the chopper. I was like, whoa, यहाँ पे ये भी होता है, base camp पे भी लोग मरते हैं. Then I realized that the avalanche came in 2015, wherein the rescue was done by Indian Army, and Indian Army, I was descending with Indian Army in 2016. 15 आया था, है ना? And then उनकी bodies ले जा रहे थे. In the chopper, they're like stack of these many bodies, yeah? And they were left for 6 months, 8 months. So I had that thing. Yeah, like,
if you go, you're not going back home. You're not going home straight away.
Yeah, you're not going home straight away. It's not that nobody dies. Like nobody dies. It's unwise to say that. Nothing happens when you go to base camp as much as it happens there. But it's the epitome of nature.
Yeah.
Where everything can happen because 2015. Just giving an insight, people at Camp 3 and Camp 4 was absolutely fine. People at base camp were gone. You know? Yeah. So anything can happen in nature and the vulnerability creeps in. And like I started calling few close people that I have. And, but again, that checklist, the thing was done and I came back. And वो जो feeling होती है ना, I think सारे इंसान ना उसी के लिए thrive करता है.
Yeah.
उसके बाद की feeling
होती है small feeling of invincibility.
No, it's a small feeling of earning your celebration. Let's put it this way. Do you earn your celebration? Celebrate करना तो बड़ा do we earn our celebration? हम तो दारू हर रोज पी सकते हैं कितने पैसे हैं हम पार्टी हर रोज कर सकते हैं. Do we earn that? Why do you think the construct of the society is made in such a way that there is one Saturday in a week? Because the construct also shows you in a very right way that have you earned Monday to Friday in order to win that Saturday. Because you want to celebrate and celebration is a part of life. You know, so we need to earn that celebration. And इसके बाद तो खैर descent इतना आसान हो जाता है कि मजा आता है.
Sure.
So yeah.
So while all this has happened, you've also worked a little bit with the Indian Army.
Yeah.
What are you doing with them?
So as of now, because the rains has stopped, I was with them. I was with CISF paramilitary, and I got this privilege to work with them in suicide prevention through games, sports, and conversation. So in 2019, CISF Jawans had committed a lot of suicides, and the whole program that I was trying to curate is to bridge the gap between each other so that they can express themselves through conversation. They can play like a child, even though they are the senior most officers of our country, and make an environment which is light and more meditative. And so I used to do meditation with them.
Okay.
And I will be starting soon again once the rain goes off because it's across the sea. And that's what I was doing with them. And again, a selfless experience where because I always want to contribute in any possible way.
Yeah.
Because I always wanted to serve Indian Army, but as I said, I didn't have that exposure or had that limitation of यही कर सकते थे. तो कहीं ना कहीं से आ गई वो इंडियन आर्मी, CISF, तो वो it felt good. It really feels good in order to, when you meet them, when you meet these soldiers, these jawans, which you meet at airports, which you meet at where they
The bhavans or maybe
the
Lok
bhavan
Sabha,
where
yeah.
they are standing with the guns, which is like 30 kilos
Yeah.
for the whole of the year. Imagine the job. Imagine how monotonous it is.
Yeah.
Who will they be motivated? Ask yourself before you even raise any question to them. Ask yourself, because I have seen a lot of people just talking to them so sadly, because if you really understand their life,
Yeah.
it's I don't want to call sad. It's you just need to feel it.
It's draining.
Yeah, it's consuming. You know why? Because I met one of these guys who said मेरी छुट्टी थी, 9 महीने बाद छुट्टी आई थी, बट वो भी खारिज हो गई क्योंकि मुझे मेरी पोस्टिंग चेंज हो गई. Imagine he waited 9 months for that to meet his family, and then it changed. Imagine to deal how rewarding it is to deal with these people.
Yeah.
To even add 1% of consolation in their heart that नहीं यार कोई बात नहीं. बहुत मुश्किल होता है यार ये समझाना कि कोई बात नहीं, मेरे को कोई समझाया शायद मैं नहीं समझू यार, कहाँ से कोई बात नहीं. You talk to these people. So next time when you meet, when you address them, please be gentle. Please be genuine to them. आप ही एक पीड़ा में नहीं हो. Everybody has a story.
That's lovely. So I'm going to move to this one section of our show, which is like a rapid fire thing, right? We need to understand you in a very fun way, because just for our listeners and whoever is watching, for them to see different sides of Ritesh, because when we talk, we can keep talking about different things. But this section is known as struggle and strength. Like the name suggests, the questions are randomized, and it could be anything like, okay, what is the kind of music that you're listening to have you ever failed at a certain point of your life where you thought that things are not going to go uphill, but you use that to channelize and go towards success. So it could be different. I'll ask you to pick up the questions. आप pick up करके मुझे pass करिए. I'll read it out and then you can answer it.
Yeah, sure.
It's not going to be rapid fire, but it's going to be quick. So I'm just going to shuffle it. I mean, we have a big deck, but we just picked out a few.
ये लीजिए.
So could you share an insight about the subconscious mind? Like, what is your thought of subconscious mind, and maybe tools, tips, tricks of how you can control it or how you can channelize it better?
Well, that's what we were talking about, when we started that I'm pursuing this journey of meditation. And the simplest way, which I learned, which I want to share, and that's what I have been taught, is that what I learned during Vipassana is the simplest way to tap or understand or have a conversation with your subconscious mind is to do breathing, which is called triangular breathing. Triangular breathing in Hindi, it's called Anapana. That's what they teach you in Vipassana. It's basically very simple. It's a triangular breathing, which you have to focus from upper lip, this part, to the tip of your nose, and just be conscious about how the breathing pattern is. Don't come to a conclusion. Just observe how the breath is going through your nostril, which nostril you are using to inhale, exhale, what you are feeling. You are feeling hard feeling inside the nostril, strong feeling. What is the sensation around your upper lip? That is the best thing that you can start with. And then there is like the whole universe. Yeah. So it is there. And again, then what you will see is that the best way to incorporate that is when you start practicing anything over a certain period of time, magic happens. Then you will see everything is meditative.
Yeah.
Wherein I am present with you is meditative.
You see the change. You see the change in your mindset, your behavior after doing something for
everything. Yeah.
Whether it's exercise, nutrition,
or
diet
drugs,
plan.
I tell you. Yeah. Let's be honest about it. How it fucks your mind, you'll only realize when you have done it and killed yourself.
So, what's one action that anybody can take at any time in their lives to improve their emotional wellness?
I in my WhatsApp, there's a caption that said, "Our response is a choice." So where does it come from? It comes from the only one action that you can take is that you know, it's a classic example that I say is that if I put my hand in front of Pratik's eyes right now, he can't see anything. Perspective comes in when my hands are here. So if you can pull back, zoom out, perspective prevails, and you can only zoom out when you give your breath time to breathe.
Yeah.
You know, you will listen to a lot of people saying that, do you even have a conversation with your brother? How many times in your life, in your 21 year, have you ever said that, oh no, I would be consciously breathing, उतना ही तो करो, सब perspective आ जाएगी. सारी आ जाएगी. And the simplest thing that you can do, which we're talking about, is that even if you don't want to do that, even if this is sounding so spiritual to you, fucking go in nature. Go. Come back here. Come back onto all fours. Climb trees. I wrote this. Climb trees, run to the mountain, float in the ocean, dance in the rain. This is the action. You can take it. You all can take it. See what happens. And again, any magic, if you want to understand, you have to pursue it.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, मैं dance कर लिया कुछ हुआ इन कभी नहीं होगा.
No, but even science right now, I mean, a lot of studies, even this guy on Instagram, Dr. Huberman,
Yeah.
he keeps saying the importance of spending 10 minutes in the morning in nature, not only getting the energy from the sun, the vitamin D from sun, but also spending it out in nature helps in so many different ways.
What Sir Deepak Chopra categorically mentioning, what Sir Deepak Chopra is doing in the field of understanding meta-human, he's simplifying it to a level where it can be understood by anybody. That's the action you need to take. मतलब जो हमारी बात हो रही थी यार, जाओ देखो क्या होता है अपने परिवार. मैंने मम्मी को बोला, I was talking this conversation, having this conversation with my mother. My mother has been unwell for a really long time, and I want to just fix it. It's like, and I'm having this conversation with my mom. मैंने मम्मी को बोला, मम्मी आप चले जाओगे, आप मर जाओगे, और मैं उसके बाद रोऊंगा, और मैं अपने आप को बोलूँगा हाँ मैं रो रहा हूँ, लेकिन मैंने कुछ किया तो नहीं था जब वो जिंदा थे. Understand where I'm coming from. So minutest contribution, action की बात होती है ना, minutest contribution that you can give starts with your family यार. You what you have learned, pass it on. मम्मा कभी क्वेश्चन नहीं करेंगे बेटा क्यों कराया, क्योंकि मम्मा को पता है कि मेरे बेटा ना प्योरेस्ट इंटेंशन से कराएगा. And what I'm seeing in her whole energy level is something else. So that is the simplest form of action. I take her every morning with me, every evening with me. Because everything lies in nature. You are a creature of nature. That's the simplest action you do. Breathing छोड़ दो, भूल जाओ, वो सब अलाइन कर देगा. मैं तो बोलता हूँ उससे आसान कुछ नहीं है ना. बारिश हो रही है, अभी बारिश में नहा लो यार. वो भी नहीं करते हैं. बचपन में कितना नहाते थे हम.
Yeah.
I know. People don't even talk about this. Why are we even talking about it?
Because it's
especially our generation who's like this age.
It's not something that is it's transactional, right? I mean, it's not something that's visible either. So it's much easier for me to consume something and tell somebody that I'm consuming something. Let's call it a protein shake. Let's call it I have fever. I need to have some
allopathic medicine to suppress the fever.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm so inclined towards doing that is probably because I like the attention and the care that I get when I say that versus saying that I have fever and I'm going to a park. People are going to be like, hey, why you have fever, you're going to a park, doesn't make sense. Why don't you rest it out?
Yeah.
Why don't you take some medicine? That's when I start getting some love. That's when I start getting some care, some sympathy, and then I'm more inclined towards allopathic medicine versus.
Very true. I was watching Sadhguru's interview. So he got some people from the United States, avid doctors, and they said, we have an amazing hospital. You must visit. And these guys visited the hospital, and the next day they were like, we want to leave. And these karamcharis asked him, Sadhguru ke log hain. Unhone pucha, kyun ja rahe ho aap? Bole, where's the hospital? So he said, our definition of hospital is something else. So he has a care center, which is all nature. इधर अच्छा आपको बुखार है तो नेचर के इस एलिमेंट को टैप करना है, आपको ये है तो नेचर के इस एलिमेंट को टैप करना है. And it's happening as we are talking about.
Perfect. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Same here.